for many of us in this room, maybe it's all new to you. Maybe it's all gobbledygook. Maybe you've heard it before, but you thought that this way of viewing marriage, it died with your grandparents, and that the church had gone with the times. It's been a real shock to your system to hear marriage preached in this manner. But ultimately, God knows and wants what's best for you, including in your marriage. After all, He created everything we know, every experience, including the covenant of marriage. And you may not understand it, but I'd like to invite you to trust God in this area of your life. Every time I'm preparing for a sermon, God providentially uses my daughter to help me give an illustration. And she had just woken up from her nap. And she was scratching. So my daughter has horrible eczema. And she was scratching her feet. And I knew that if I continued to let her do this, her feet would eventually bleed and it would make things worse. So I started putting these socks on her feet. And she started to cry, real tears. And she was crying. She was saying, scratching, telling me, I want to scratch my foot, Dad. Why are you stopping me from doing this? And so I went to go get some antihistamines, what she calls meshins for medicine. And at the same time, I was explaining to her, Akati, even though scratching feels good, it's going to be bad for you. I promise you that what I'm doing is good for you. In the long term, if you stop scratching, hopefully the scabs will heal and your foot will get better. And through her tears, through her real tears, I could tell that she wasn't fully comprehending what I was telling her, right? She wasn't apprehending the long-term ramifications of this short-term action. What she was instead doing was she was trusting in who I was. So she was listening to me, not fully comprehending, but she was nodding and saying, yes, just crying while she was doing this. And so I started to say yes along with her. I said, yes, it's good for you. And she started to get more and more confident and started to say yes with more confidence, and soon the tears stopped. And a big smile came on her face. She said, yes. Kari wasn't comforted by what I had to say. She was comforted in who I was. She decided to forego her short-term pleasure for the long-term trust that she had in me, her father, her loving father. She believed that I loved her and that I had good plans for her. God loves you, and God has good plans for you too.